Community College, and you are listening to the Jones Podcast. 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 The Jones Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jones Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. The Jones Podcast is a podcast that acknowledges great individuals or couples who are entrepreneurs on the city council or who are just doing great things from our city of Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jones Podcast. What's going on, Jones Podcast family? I have a very special guest for me tonight. I have my friend, he's like my brother, Josh Giambalvo. He's the owner of Frutta Bowls, both of them in Tuscaloosa. Josh, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Eric Jones, man? Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Man.
You doing all right today?
I'm doing great now since we got it working right.
Yeah, technical difficulties on a Sunday it's always all right.
Yeah, it's part of it, I guess. It's part of it. How you been, man? How's the family doing?
Man, I have been great. Busy wrapping up a weekend that just a busy weekend when you have your own businesses, but we're good and the family's great. Kids are getting old, makes me feel old, but man, everyone is overly blessed. I got overly blessed, right? More than I deserve, for sure.
For my listeners who really don't know your background, just elaborate on your background a little bit for me.
Oh man, a background, crazy background. Well, me and you go back from just working in the restaurant business together. So a lot of my background is just working, working in different jobs and actually kind of what I thought to be dead-end jobs, working a lot of restaurants. And then, I moved here in, 2006 from Pennsylvania, worked a lot of different jobs here, settled in, had kids, fast forward, looking into, owning a fitness facility, and we own a fitness facility in town, and then opportunity came about with Frutta Bowls, and we jumped on that. And so, man, my background is I always joke and say it ain't flashy, it's very much work, and I've had some great things kind of fall my way, in the midst of all that stuff, which is pretty cool. I count my blessings. Definitely a family man. I do work a lot, but make it to baseball games. I got two boys, 9 and 6, that play. I think they play every sport that there is to play. So we're always doing something.
So could you explain to me what exactly is Frutta Bowls?
So Frutta Bowls is a concept. A lot of people that are from the West Coast, it makes a little more sense to them. It's really kind of originated, not Frutta Bowls, but the acai concept kind of originated, Hawaii and then California, and it's fresh fruit smoothies, acai bowls. We actually are doing artesian toasts now and coffees, but the main seller, the main concept is this acai bowl. It's a berry from Brazil. We blend ours with banana for taste and consistency. On top of that's granola, whatever fresh fruits you want, and then we got toppings like peanut butter, Nutella, honey, caramel, almond butter, coconut flakes, chia seed. We got all kinds of stuff, but the concept is a healthier alternative to fast food or fast casual food. We're not a drive up, so I try to maybe not say fast food, but we're pretty quick. If you get in there and you order a bowl and smoothie or bowl and toast or some toast and coffee, you can be out of there in 8-10 minutes and have something fresh and a healthier than most of these fast stops.
So when you decided to bring Frutta Bowls to Tuscaloosa, what was the process that you had to go through to get it here?
Probably a little weirder than most. Actually, was friends with the people that own the concept, and the concept is out of New Jersey. And they had 2 or 3 in New Jersey. They had been successful and kind of just thinking about doing a franchise with it, and we just were talking, and I thought, man, I've lived in Tuscaloosa a while. I've lived in the South a little bit a while, and one thing I've come to notice is we're kind of last with everything, and I mean we just are.
Yeah,
It's no big
right.
deal. But when you talk about being what I thought could work, I just was like, man, maybe we could jump on this before somebody else does it, and it worked. And after that, it just became the franchising process, and that process was giving financials to people and filling out applications and going through the process of vetting locations and again, money, locations, what kind of time frames, what the cost was going to be to operate. There's a lot of that was the business side. That's not like my favorite side. That's definitely not my favorite. There's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
And once everything looked good and we kind of found a spot we wanted to do, it was really a run with. Then it was really get into construction and get equipment ordered and get a staff, and it almost was this meticulous process that became not very meticulous, man. There's just so much to do that it just felt, I say my head spinning a lot. And that's what it felt like. It was organized chaos. Is there such a thing?
It is. It is.
Is there a thing? I think that's what it was. I think once the process started and the paperwork was done, it was organized chaos. It was a lot of stuff to get done. And when you have money tied up that you don't make any money until the restaurant opens, we tried to get it done as fast as possible. And it did. It was a quick turnaround, and it's been successful.
So you have the one downtown and the one in Midtown, correct?
Yeah. We're on University Boulevard, which is a nightmare right now with construction.
Yeah.
And we are Midtown, Midtown Village as well.
Okay, so the University Boulevard, was that your second one, or was Midtown your second one?
Midtown was my second one. University Boulevard in June is coming up on 2 years, and Midtown March is our 1 year anniversary for Midtown.
Oh, okay, then. Well, congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
You've come a long way from working at Desperate House, as we called it.
Yeah, man, just serving tables, and you learn a lot. I learned a lot. Again, like I said, you backtrack and look at some of that stuff, and I think in the time I thought dead end job, and in the time you thought, kind of like you just said, you have this feeling about it. But I guess at the end of the day, I learned a lot, through those processes, not just at that one place, just through those years of just working and meeting people and, doing things.
Yeah, and like we were discussing earlier, it's been 11 years, if I'm not mistaken. And we were working there 11 years ago, and it doesn't seem like it's been 11 years.
Yeah, that's yeah. That's why it takes. That's why I feel like I get out of bed a little slower. That's the only thing that makes me know is 11 years ago.
Yeah,
I think I get out of bed slower than I used to. But yeah, man, time is and you got kids, and I think kids fast forward it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I feel like we talk to a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that are, family people, and I think kids fast forward it, but I can't believe it's been that long ago.
Yeah. Yep. And when I introduce you as a special friend, and during that time, it was just me and you basically at that restaurant at a certain time, and we got real close.
Yeah.
We got really close.
That we did. And I do remember, even though it was that long ago, I do remember some times just me and you.
Yeah. And when your son was born and he died, unfortunately, man, that because our restaurant was so small, it hit everybody hard because we were like a family.
It did. It did. And that was, looking back, I appreciate that. I don't know if I appreciated that in the moment.
Yeah.
But looking back at different aspects of my life back then, and that things like that speaks a lot about certain people, for sure. Because I think compassion's a big thing. I think compassion is just taking someone else's pain and kind of feeling it with them. And I agree with you. I think there were a lot of people that felt the pain, with me. And that's, looking back, man, that's an important, more important to me than will probably ever be allowed to, me able to ever express.
Yeah. Yeah, because it like I told you, man, when it happened, I talked to my mom, and I ain't gonna lie, I cried like a baby. Because it was you. You was my homie.
Yep.
But that's
man.
That's how close we were. That's how close we were.
Nah, very close. Yeah, man. And it's, just thinking about this call right here, this is, when you find people, I feel like when you're very close, the closeness you're talking about doesn't mean that we got to pick up the phone and talk every day, and it doesn't mean that we hang out 24/7. I got a few, and a few I count on. To be honest, I can probably count on both hands, which is that's good, because I'm okay with having one or two really good friends. But when you can just pick up a conversation again, or that hey, that person's still there, I think is important. And me and you don't talk all the time. We had a gap, we didn't talk, but yeah, the family continues, whether that whether life hits you and you don't communicate often or not. You can always tell those friends and those people that are special to you and mean a lot to you because they're always around, and they're always going to be around.
If you knew anyone who wanted to start a Frutta Bowls concept, what advice would you have for them?
Oh, man. Man. I tell you what, and I think this is any concept, because I got a few irons in the fire right now that we're working on. And I think any concept right now, I think the biggest thing, and maybe it's only because it's fresh on my brain, because I've been talking about it to a couple of other guys I talk business with. I think a lot of people nowadays, I don't know if this was a thing. So maybe it's the younger generation. I don't want to hate on the younger generation, but I think a lot of people just think things are. They're just like, oh, that's a restaurant, and they signed a couple of things, a piece of paper, and there's an owner, and the owner sits in the back and counts his money, and it just was. Or it just became this thing. And I don't know. I feel like that's a growing concept, a growing thought process. And when I talk to people about really any business, a franchise, their own concept, a landscaping business, whatever it might be, I try to the only advice I can tell people, man, is put them big boy boots on. Get ready to get dirty, and get ready to work, and get ready to face problems and failures and just things not going your way. Offer good, offer positive things. But there's just so much time in a day, and employees and pay, just so much that goes into a business. And again, there are some businesses that are bigger than others. But I don't think of it that way. I think big business or small business, I think, the biggest advice is, man, just get ready to work. And if you're not afraid to work, and if you're not afraid to fall on your face a few times, maybe a few hundred times, I feel like sometimes, man, then it's for you. If you like hard work and falling on your face, owning a franchise or a concept or a business, and restaurants are hard. Restaurants are a little harder if you really talk to a lot of business guys and gals out there. The restaurant business is difficult, but in general, starting your concept, man, it's like a word of advice and a punch in the gut, I guess, at the same time. Just to say, my word of advice is just be ready to rock and roll. It isn't any easier than any, owning a place is not easier than working at a place, and I feel like a lot of people think that. I go in there and do a lot of work when I need to.
Let me ask you this. I ask a lot of business owners this. Were you ever afraid to fail?
Was I ever afraid to fail? Man, I don't think so. Okay. I think I think back in the day, we talk about, I think me and you even had talked about this way back when, probably in the times at the restaurants. I always remember getting nauseous and nervous in sports and stuff like that. And I used to think back in the day that I was afraid to fail. I just think that was part of it, because I don't get nauseous like I used to, but I still have nerves about, things going on in business and stuff like that. And I don't think it's afraid to fail thing. I think it's a perfection thing. And I think it's 94% of things are going right, but I'm a little nauseous about the 6 that aren't.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that makes a good business owner. It makes it stressful. It makes it stressful. But I tell a lot of people, man, if you know your why, if you got a deep why, not like, hey, I'm going to work to make an hourly rate, or hey, I'm going to the gym to be skinny, or hey, whatever. We talked about this a lot. We talk about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a deep reasoning for doing what you're doing, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and and a lot of times you won't fail if you have that why. Yeah,
man. I mean, or if you do, you just get back up. I mean, most people haven't fallen much or haven't failed much, haven't tried much. So I failed a lot. I've also tried a lot of stuff. There's a couple ways to find out what works, and sometimes it's finding out what doesn't work. And I know myself, and I've become pretty self-aware about things I'm good at, things I'm not good at. No big deal, but most of those things I'm not good at, the way I found out I wasn't good at them was I failed at them. Yeah. It's a long answer to your question, but I don't think I have ever been afraid to fail, and I don't even think that's some people would look at that as like an ego answer. I don't think that's an ego answer. I think that's you're going to fail. Like, that's just, I also don't think I've met anybody that hasn't failed. Like I said, or they haven't tried anything if they haven't failed.
My grandmother, she had her own business, and I asked her the same question. And this is what she told me, and it didn't make sense when she told me, but it makes a lot of sense now. She said, son, you're going to fail your way to success.
Yep.
I didn't know what she meant when she told me that like 15 years ago. But now, man, it makes a lot of sense.
Perfect sense. Yep. A lot of guys I talk to, man, just say, and this is, I don't know if it's particularly one person. I think a lot of people have said this, is they say fall forward. Man, learn something from that failure. So if I fall forward, I'm still making progress, So if I fail and I'm able to take a step back and say, hey, here's the reasons why, and here's how that led to that. You know what? I'm not going to do that next time.
Exactly.
Well, then nothing wrong with it. It's a learning curve. So yeah, man, I appreciate what your grandma said, because I completely agree.
Before we get up out of here, Josh, would you like to promote any of your businesses or your upcoming events that you're going to have?
Man, I have no problem saying swing on by Frutta Bowls. I tell you what, this is what I'll promote. Only half my road on University Boulevard is closed. You can come on in the other half. So University Boulevard is open, and it's a little stressful right now because I think people think we're closed with all the road construction, so we're just kind of trudging through. So, man, you want something fresh, filling, man, University Boulevard is your spot, because we could use the help during all these cranes and road signs and all the stuff going on downtown.
But Josh, man, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. I appreciate you coming on the pod tonight, and we're going to have to get together soon, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for having me on, and, if you need anything, I'm here for you.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Jones Podcast. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Jones Podcast.